Toyota, one of the most famous names in the world of motorsport. With a history of iconic models in the field of endurance series, WRC and even Formula 1, it can boast a heritage of successes in its long-lasting life. The Japanese brand always tried to reach the limit for the development of their racing cars, producing extreme prototypes that always pushed speed at its boundaries. One time, however, in the 70s, Toyota went too far. What they created was a literal racing monster, a prototype years ahead of its time, a car so fast that it could dominate every single race. But that wasn't the reason why this car was well known. The car was too fast, so fast it became too dangerous to drive. A 1000 brake horsepower monster that ultimately caused the death of one of the prominent Toyota drivers of the time, writing one of the saddest chapters in the history of the Japanese manufacturer. A car that carries vivid memories and strong emotions, a dream ended by its own tragic tale. This is the story of the fastest car of the 70s. This is the story of the Toyota 7. Back in the late 60s, the world of motorsport was living one of the greatest eras of its life, the culmination of the post-World War II development. Brands from all over the world were challenging each other for prestigious cups, like the Indianapolis 500, the Monaco Grand Prix, the 24-Hour of Le Mans, or even the Can-Am Series. In Japan, a racing interest in motor racing led to the birth of the Japanese Grand Prix in 1963. A race that slowly reached the same popularity level of the Triple Crown trio. The interest from manufacturers was tangible. Many developed their own prototypes just for this Grand Prix, names such as Jaguar, Lotus, Daihatsu, Nissan, and Toyota. Being one of the largest motor brands in the 60s, Toyota had huge plans and funds for its racing programs. And right after the success of the 2000 GT, the company decided to craft a brand new prototype to conquer the Japanese Grand Prix. That's when the Toyota 7 project came to life. The first Toyota 7 prototype, codenamed 415S, was the result of a joint collaboration with Yamaha, and it was set to take part in the 1968 Japanese Grand Prix. A one-year effort development that unfortunately didn't pay off, as the car lost against the rival Nissan R381. 1 year later, with the 474S, the evolution of the previous model, Toyota tried for the second time to beat its rival in the Japanese local derby, but lost again to the Nissan R382. Something was off, Toyota noted, and the main issue was easily identifiable: the engine. The Toyota prototypes always lacked a considerable amount of power compared to the Nissan models, and every time they tried to raise the bar for the following year, Nissan always countered with bigger and more powerful engines, securing for 2 consecutive years the win of the most prestigious race of the Asian continent. Toyota had no other choices at this point, but to raise the level even higher, and so, for 1970, they started the development of the final evolution of the Toyota 7, with the most powerful engine the world could conceive, the Toyota 7 Turbo. It's no exaggeration to state that the Toyota 7 Turbo was the fastest car ever created at the time. One of the main characteristics of this prototype was surely its lightweight, thanks to a brand new aluminum alloy chassis, a new gearbox completely made with lighter material like magnesium alloy, and suspension arms made of titanium. Every possible component of the car has been replaced with lighter materials, and on the overall, this brought the Toyota 7 to weight only 620 kilograms. Left alone, these are incredible numbers, but if you combine them with the 9.1 engine turbo model, a revolutionary beast made of alloy Inconel, capable of reaching 8,000 RPM and a tremendous 800 horsepower, you get the idea of how insane and far ahead of its time this car actually was. It was so fast that with its impressive torque, the car could spin its tires even in 5th gear. But that's not even all. The Toyota 7 was also a remarkable small car. In stature, it was even smaller than the current GR Yaris, and with a smooth aerodynamics characterized by NACA ducts, squared nose and a massive rear wing, everything was perfectly balanced to run on the racetrack, and particularly for the 1970 Japanese Grand Prix. Despite the hard work of Nissan to build the R383 model, Toyota was now being talked about as the prohibitive winner of the race, as nothing was able to match the incredible speed of the final form of the Toyota 7. They would finally win what they chased for 2 consecutive years. However, the dream didn't last for long. On the morning of June 12, Nissan pulled out from the event due to environmental concerns, and just 4 days later, the Japanese Grand Prix was cancelled, once and forever, leaving Toyota deluded for all the efforts made to develop this beast that at this point would never pay back. Or not. Toyota, right after this news, decided to convert the project to take part in the Pacific Can-Am series, and to do so, they pushed the development of the car even farther. The Toyota 7 now was powered by a striking 1000 horsepower, with other minor improvements that brought the car to an even faster performance level. While for the lineup, a young talented driver considered as the new ace of the Toyota racing program was being promoted as the first driver, Minoru Kawai, a 26-year-old driver that showed his skills winning the 200 km of Fuji in 1969 with the 474S. Now he was granted the final version of the Toyota 7. The fastest car ever created with the most talented driver of the Asian continent, Toyota was clearly throwing everything they could to establish themselves in the Can-Am series, and the trepidation was visible. But as soon as Minoru signed his contract with Toyota, disaster struck. Right on that day, Kawai was carrying out a private test in the Suzuka circuit, with the supervision of senior driver Shihomi Osoya. He watched him drive that beast from the pits, setting a new lap record and roaring his V8 turbo engine through the Japanese track. But suddenly, towards the end of the session, the engine sound stopped echoing. Instead, a tire squeal could be heard, and right after that, complete silence. Minoru Kawai, after approaching the Degner curve section, reportedly lost control of the car and crashed into the barrier at approximately 200 km/h, an impact that would eject him from the cockpit and completely destroy the car. The situation was severe, and Kawai was immediately rushed to the nearby hospital, but just 30 minutes after his arrival, the 27-year-old was pronounced dead. What was going to be a day of hope for a new racing chapter became an evening of grief, something the entire team was unable to bear with. This accident brought back the still vivid memories of another tragic event that occurred the previous year, the fatal accident of Sachio Fukuzawa, another talented driver who died during the testing of a black prototype with no name and no traces to this day, that was believed to be a primitive version of the 7 Turbo. 2 tragic deaths in a year, 2 stories, 2 talented drivers, 2 lives, both united by one single spectral factor, the Toyota 7 Turbo, the only thing responsible for the 2 deaths. In complete shock, Toyota took the drastic decision to suspend its racing activities indefinitely, ceasing as well the development of the Toyota 7. It took 7 years for Toyota to get back on track, this time in the Group 5 category with the Celica LB Turbo and the Corolla G5, before focusing on the more and more rising Group C class, collaborating with brands such as Toms and Dome. The Japanese manufacturer kept their philosophy of performance alive, and in the following decades they will create racing icons such as the 88 CV, the Celica Group A rally car, the TS020 GT1, and many, many more. Probably, none of them will never be seen as daring as the Toyota 7 Turbo, a car that was probably too fast and too extreme for its days. A racing monster with two souls, the never-stopping desire of pushing speed to the limit, and the irreparable fate of two tragic losses. A grief that will turn out as a lesson for the Japanese manufacturer. The Toyota 7 can't be remembered otherwise, if not in this way. And still to this day, it will forever be one of the most daring racing cars ever. But unfortunately, as history tells us, it was too daring.